Hey guys, Cece back with another video. In today's video, we are going to talk about my absolute favorite makeup brushes. Your first time watching me or my channel, make sure you go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also, make sure you go ahead and click the little notification bell right next to the subscribe button so you can always be notified of all of my future videos, because you never want to miss a single upload. You also want to make sure you're following me on Instagram at YvetteLuvsBeauty, and also subscribed to my family vlog channel right here on YouTube at Bradley TV. So you guys, today we're going to talk about one of my favorite things, and that is makeup brushes. I get questions all the time on people not knowing what to use makeup brushes for, how to use makeup brushes, how to determine what type of makeup brush to get to use, all that good stuff. Clearly, I have a problem with makeup brushes. If you guys missed my makeup brush declutters, part 1 and 2, I'll make sure they're linked up here and also linked down below in the description box so you guys can check them out. I think I had over like 500 makeup brushes, which is crazy. You can also see back there that there are a lot of makeup brushes that still remain after my declutter. However, I do have some like absolute favorites and favorite types that I want to show you guys and talk about. I've been getting really into doing these really detailed videos for you guys. So I did like a detailed setting powder video. I have a detailed foundation and primer video either coming up or you've already seen it, and now we're going to do makeup brushes. So I have my face brushes here, and then I also have my eye brushes here. I don't want makeup to stress you out anymore, sis, okay? We're gonna get through that. We're gonna get through this together. So any other questions that you guys have, or any other part of makeup that you may be confused on and you want another detailed video, let me know down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you guys as to what you want to see. All right, so let's start with face brushes. I think I love face brushes more than I love eye brushes. And I say that because when I'm doing my makeup, like today, I have on no eyeshadow, and some days I don't wear eyeshadow, especially when I go to work. Normally I don't wear eyeshadow. I'll just put on my face and I'll go. So I do have a series of face brushes here. These are my absolute favorite brushes, the brushes that I will use over and over again, the brushes that I probably have multiples of, and these are just the ones I like. I have so many more though, so don't think that because I say I use one brush for contour that you need to go out and buy this brush. You can use, let me say this really loud, put these down, and I'm gonna say these loud so all of you can hear me. You don't have to follow a certain routine when it comes to makeup. You can use anything for anything. So if it's a blush, you can use it for an eyeshadow, honey. Okay? If it's a highlighter, you can use it for a blush or an eyeshadow. If it's an eyeshadow, you can use it for a highlighter. If it is a bronzing brush, you can use it for blush. You can use it to put on your foundation if you want to, if it works for you. You can do whatever you want to do. So there are so many brushes that claim they're for one thing that I find that the use for them is so much better if I use them for something else. So just because I say I'm using this brush for contour, this brush for bronzer, this brush for highlighter, doesn't mean you have to do the same. If you have the same brush and you feel like it works better as, it could be a highlighter brush and you feel like it works better on the eyes, use it on the eyes, girl. That's what you do. So I just wanted to make that disclaimer before we go into this. I do have 7 brushes sitting in front of me, okay? The first one I have is a powder brush. This is the Sigma Large Powder Brush F20. So I do have a code for Sigma down below in the description box. It's always down there. There's a link. If you guys are interested, it'll save you 10% off of their brushes. I've been using Sigma brushes for so long. I do not only have Sigma brushes in this set. I would never do that to you guys. I'm not trying to sell you something, but this is truly my favorite powder brush. So in a powder brush, I look for a brush that is not too dense and just a very large brush so I can cover a large area at a time. Like powdering shouldn't take 20 minutes. I should be able to dip my brush in the powder powder my face and go. So I do love this brush for that. It has just the right amount of density where it's not holding too much product, and so it won't like cake the powder on my face. So I really do love this for finishing powder. Might as well keep going with powders. Let's talk about setting powders. So underneath the eyes, when I use a powder to set my concealer, I love a brush like this. Now this brush can also be used to blend out your actual concealer. It's synthetic, so it's really good for liquids, and it's also good for powders. This is the Morphe M536. So I can use it for both. I can use it to set the concealer, to blend out the concealer, or I can use it to set the concealer with a powder. Either or works just fine. I tend to use it more to set the concealer with the powder because I am a sponge girl, as you guys know, when it comes to my foundation and my concealer, and so I would normally use this to set the concealer. Since we talked about sponges, let's get into it. This is actually the sponge that I just used. That's why it's dirty. This is my Sonia Kashuk sponge. How many times do I have to talk to you guys about this? You already know how much I love it. You know you can find it at Target. You know it's cheap and affordable, and you know you need to get it. So this is what I will be using probably 8 out of 10 times. This is what I'll use for my foundation as well as to blend out my concealer. I use the same sponge and I blend everything out. I'll also use this if I'm doing a cream contour or a cream blush. I like to blend that out with a sponge as well. Again, this is my absolute favorite sponge, but there's so many different kinds. You can get one from Beauty Blender. Obviously, that's going to run you a little more money, but e.l.f. has them, Eco Tools has them, Real Techniques has them. So there's so many just different kinds of sponges. You just have to find one that works for you. Let's move on to bronzer. To bronze my face, I'm in love with the Morphe M523. This is so good for bronzer, or you can also use it for contouring. So you guys, like, it puts just the right amount of product on the face, but you can also kind of blend it out at the same time. So I really love this to use for more of my redder toned bronzers. But then when I go in to try to really contour and chisel my face, I like this brush. I've been talking about this brush since I got it. This is the Scott Barnes number 65 brush. So it fits right into the contours of those cheeks, and then you can really just blend, and the brush is so soft. It's also synthetic, so this is also another good one that you can use for liquids, for creams or for powders. And it just, this is my baby right here. Like, I love this brush. Going into blush, one of my favorite blush brushes is this one. It's the Real Techniques. This is the blush brush, and this one actually is a blush brush, but yeah, it's just one of my favorites. It fits right on the apples of those cheeks and just places the color like right where you want it. So I do really love this brush. I used it today, and it's just the perfect size in my opinion for my face. It keeps its shape really nicely, and it's Real Technique, so it's very affordable. Now for highlighter. Highlighter is, I don't know, there's something so gratifying about placing highlighter on the face. My favorite highlighter brush is definitely the Morphe M501. I have so many of these. If you guys watched my blush declutter, I think I had like 4 or 5 of these, and I had to get rid of some because I just had too many. But it puts the highlighter in the, like, do you see that? How it just puts it in the perfect spot? Like, I mean, your highlighter is perfectly placed once you put it on your face with this brush. It is everything. I love it. And if you're going to do highlighter, especially if you're a beginner, I highly encourage you to get a brush like this. For the face, last but not least, I do have this brush here. This is the Sephora brand Pro Foundation brush, but look just how it's shaped. I would never put foundation on with this brush. I mean, you can, of course, but I just wouldn't do it. If one, it's very small, and I just feel like it would take you forever to put foundation on with this brush. 2, I don't always like the way foundation looks blended out with the brush, so that's why I use a sponge. But what I would use this brush for is for cream contouring. So I would take my cream product and just place it right there in the cheeks. That is what I would do with the brush like this, and then I could also blend it out with this brush. The bristles are very soft, and it is the perfect shape, in my opinion, to contour your face with a cream product. So I would definitely get you a brush like this to make it easier if you are trying to cream contour or even cream blush. I feel like it will blend out very, very well. Let's move into eye brushes. So I did pull out a few eye brushes here. I try not to pull out a whole bunch to overwhelm anyone, but I do have a few that I think these are popular styles of eye brushes that you probably want to know about. So the first most basic one is just a spoolie. I think everyone needs a spoolie. A lot of times these also come on your eyebrow pencils and of course your mascaras. You can clean off old mascara wands and make yourself a spoolie, but I like these ones from e.l.f. These are the professional eyelash and brow wand. These cost $1, and so you can get these from Target or on the e.l.f. website. And I use it just to brush in my brow hairs, just to make sure that everything's in place, and also to make sure that the brow pencil color is where I placed it. So I love these little spoolies. These are pretty much the only ones I use. I do have others, but these are definitely my favorites, and they're only $1. Another basic eye brush that I think you need is this like little baby angled brush. So angled brushes are good for multiple reasons. One, you can use it. I use it a lot to carve out my brows with concealer, but you can also use it to do your brows. So if you're using powder or if you're using a pomade, an angled brush is really good to get in there and do your brows. People use angled brush for like gel eyeliner and stuff like that. So you can use an angled brush for a myriad of reasons. I think an angled brush is definitely a staple that you need to have in your collection. If you look at like any brush set, they probably all come with an angled brush because it is just necessary. The next brush that I think is pretty common is your standard blending brush. This one is the Sigma Tapered Blending E40, and for this brush I would use just to blend my transition shade all over the lid. That is why I keep brushes like this. The Sigma E40 is definitely my absolute favorite brush for doing that. But there are so many other brushes in different brands like Morphe and Real Techniques and e.l.f. There's so many different brands that do have brushes like this, but I find this one works the best, and this is the one that I like the best in my opinion, just to diffuse that transition color in the crease. Absolutely love this brush. Been using it for so long, and I have found nothing better, I swear. Similarly, along with that, there is this like smaller blending brush. This is the MAC 217S, and for this brush I would use it to get right in the crease and just get a little more precise with my color. So just add a little more color into the crease and just get more precise with it, and it blends, but it also places the color. Now this big brush right here, it'll place the color on your eyes, but I mean, it's so big, obviously it will be all over the place. That's why it's good for transition colors or for just blending colors together. This one, again, it'll place the color where you want it, but then you can also do some blending with it. So this is my favorite brush like this. And again, this is the MAC 217S, and I just love it. So then of course you do need color on the lid. Yes, we need color on the lid. So I have two separate brushes that I like to use to add color to the lid. One is more of it's just a very precise brush. A lot of people call it a concealer brush. As a matter of fact, that's what this brush is called. This is by Dose of Colors, and this brush is called concealer because you can also spot conceal with this brush with any blemishes that you have. But this brush, in my opinion, is great for packing on pigment, like pressed pigments. It is amazing for doing that right on the lid. I absolutely love it for that, and that's really the only reason I use these brushes. I don't use it for concealer, but I love it for packing color on the lid, more so, like I said, like pressed pigments, more so than matte colors. And then for my matte shades that I'm pressing on the lid, I would use something like this. This is the Sigma Eye Shading E55 brush, and this one is more, It's not as thin and it's not as precise. It's a little more thick, but it works with those matte shades. It's just super soft, and this is another one of those that will place the shade but also kind of blend it out to make sure that that matte shade is just, it looks nice and seamless and smooth, if that makes any sense. So I do really love this brush for that. It's the only reason I use it pretty much, but you can also use it to place color on the brow bone as well. Last two brushes that I have, this one is a Morphe E18, and this is kind of a round detailer brush. And so what I would use this for is to go into like my outer V area and place like a deeper color just to deepen up the look. I love brushes like this for that. There's all types of shapes of brushes that you can use for that. Like there's more angled brushes, but this is the kind that I find works the best. I also find that this brush works well for underneath the lash line. If you're trying to go under there to put color and you need to blend it out, I find that a brush like this works really well. And they also have different sizes. Morphe does different sizes of brushes this shape. So if you think this is too big for your eyes, then you can definitely go in with a smaller one. Last but not least is this small little tiny baby brush. This is called the e.l.f. Small Precision Brush. So this brush I use for two reasons. I would use a brush like this to do my gel eyeliner. This is the only type of brush that I would use to do my gel eyeliner. Or I use this brush to put color in my inner corner. So if you notice today, I do have my inner corner highlighted, and I tend to do that with pretty much all my makeup looks. I usually use a small little shader brush like this, and it places the color just in the right spot without getting like glitter in your eyes or something like that. Again, gel eyeliner for me, or color in the inner corner. Alright you guys, so that is it. I hope this video was super helpful and informative for you. I really tried to make it as detailed as possible without confusing anyone. So if you have any other questions, please make sure to leave them down below in the comment section. And again, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss videos like this. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye guys.